Libra, look at you. Look at me. Look at us. Baby, look at us. Do you guys remember that song? Happy birthday to the Libras that are coming up in September. And then happy birthday to the ones that are coming up in October, which is my month as a Libra. Whoo! Ace of Pentacles. Come on now. What are you manifesting? What are the new opportunities? What is this new beginning, right? And what is this new substance, right? What are we substantiating? And what is the proof? What's happening? You know, money is a focus right now, and what you do with the money and how you work with the money and how your money behaves for you is dependent on what you do and how you behave for your money. Is your money working for you, or are you working for it, right? That's kind of like the question right here. So let me go ahead and continue. That's a good card to get, because that's a new beginning. That's proof that, you know, you are ready for something new. Like there's a new phase. You know, if it was something that you were doing before that now you're going to be doing, but doing it in a new way, you know, or maybe it's like something happening in a real way for you. You know, it's kind of like a gift from the universe, that card, right? It's something becoming available to you. Us. Right? Oh my gosh, cards are falling out. Eight of Cups, you're walking away from something. You're leaving something behind that, you know, once brought you happiness or once brought you value or once gave you something that you needed, right? But now you're moving forward towards something else that's going to be like a part of your new chapter, new foundation, whatever that means for any of you Libras out there. Sun, Moon, or Rising, or if you have your Sun in your 7th house or your Venus in your 7th house. Yeah. I think this is ready. Okay. Oh. All right. It did it. Let's see what's going on. Okay, Eight of Swords. So interference, what's happening? Communication interference. Maybe there are some communication blockages, or maybe you're afraid of communicating, or maybe communication is interfering right now, or what you're thinking, or what you're assuming, or any expectation that you might have of something. You know what I mean? It's kind of like not even forcing communication, and it's almost like you don't want to face the truth of something or face the truth about something. This is probably you know, trying to stay encouraged and motivated to not get too involved with the opinions of others, right? And not to care about what other people might think of you, okay? And this is also not being careful with your communication. You know, you should feel encouraged to speak freely, openly, and honestly, that type of thing. You know, with clarity, communicating with clarity, that type of thing. And this is kind of like getting yourself out of a situation that doesn't allow you to see things clearly and doesn't allow you to think clearly or think in a way that is going to be you know, objective, right? So we need you to stay objective in a situation that you feel like uncertain about, maybe, perhaps, right? Let's go ahead and see what's on the other side. The Seven of Pentacles. This talks about, you know, failure, and it talks about a relationship that isn't able to move forward, right? Or it talks about a job or something like that that won't be moving forward, or it talks about the challenges, right? The lessons and learning how to cope with a restraining or with a restricting situation. You know, it's Seven of Pentacles, so it talks about, you know, not spending too much and not letting your relationships get in the way of your work. Okay, so let's go there. So, you know, it's an 8 and it's a 7. So the 7 of Pentacles is in the past position. So it's kind of like, you know, focusing on the work, trying to maintain a level of discipline, right? And what are you learning? What are you being taught as you focus on what's really important here for your own security, your own safety, your own comfort, that type of thing? You're trying to create an ideal reality for yourself, and this is something that isn't going to be easy, and it's not something that is going to, you know, it's almost kind of like what you want is limited because all that you might see is what other people have accomplished, right? So you might be comparing your accomplishments to others, and that is interfering with you being able to see what it is that you have to offer. Does that make sense? So, right, this is that interference energy, or the energy of like, am I doing this right? Or like, what do other people think? Or what do they see? Or like, can I control what other people say or what they think? No, you can't. You can only control what you say and what you do and what you think. You know what I mean? And this is talking about not comparing your work to the work of other people, because once you start doing that, that's when you will start to get in the danger zone, and you will begin the course of failure, right? When you start comparing your work to other people. And don't try to rush your work, and don't try to rush your productivity or your progress. Stay disciplined. Maybe there's more for you to learn, you know what I mean? Maybe there's more for you to get out of a situation than what you just might have limited yourself to believing that you could get out of it. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And this is green, so it's talking about, money, but then it's also talking about the heart chakra as well, Yeah. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at what's going on the right side. Prince of Pentacles, yeah, like something is moving forward slowly. There are some slow progressions here. You're looking at some things with some detail. You're bringing some planning to things, right? You're examining what your options are. Okay, and this is slow progressions. Like I said, you're not rushing anything. This Seven of Pentacles is kind of like speaking into this, or it's like emphasizing, supporting the Prince of Pentacles, right? Don't let your fear of not being able to fully understand what's happening prevent you from continuing to move forward, doing what you do best and doing what you are most powerful at, if that makes any kind of sense. Don't let your relationships, and don't let what other people might think or say get in the way of you seeing your opportunities for what they are. And also, don't let anyone get in the way of your process, okay? Right. Okay, let's look and see what's on the bottom of this. Okay, right, the Four of Swords is behind the Eight of Swords, and then you have the Moon here. And then you have the Eight of Cups. Wow, this is so crazy. Okay, so the Four of Swords is talking about taking a time out from your relationships, right? It's kind of like learning and growing from the time that you spend alone with yourself. This is the Four of Swords, so it's talking about self-actualization, the realization of self, and individuation process, right? Coming up with your own thoughts and your own perspective. And, just like how you see your big picture. It's not putting too much emphasis on the opinions of other people, right? Like I said before, bam, bam, right? This is what you want. You don't want this. You want that, okay? Because sometimes people could be using information, or they could be using communication as like a weapon, right? Because it's an 8. So the way that people kind of like will use communication, sometimes they'll put emphasis on certain things, or they'll kind of make it confusing for you in some kind of way, because you're like, it's kind of hard for me to read you right now based on like what I am receiving, or maybe I can't I can't see things for what they really are right now, so I need to tap into that energy of the star card, which is 17, which is also an 8, right? And it's Aquarius, right? Bam. So here we have the Four of Swords, which is also related to the King of Swords, which is Aquarius. So it does talking about creating boundaries, creating some healthy boundaries of communication, right? And being able to learn from your own experience, right? Learning from the past, learning from the cycles that you've been going through. Sorry. It's like you're having a deep emotional understanding for what is needed right now for you to move forward confidently. Yes, if that makes any sense. But it's like thinking for yourself. And now that you're thinking for yourself, you're moving in a new direction. Okay, because you're letting go of the emotional attachments that you may have had to some intimate relationships in the past. Also, it's controlling your sexual urges. You know what I mean? This type of thing. Because it's an 8, so it's related to the 8th house of Scorpio, which is talking about sex and intimate relationships. And then Saturn is talking about control and the body, right? And then like Pisces is talking about vulnerability, sacrifice, and submission. You know, so are you going to submit, or are you going to give in to your sexual desires? Are you going to continue to control them? And are you going to allow your emotional attachment to something that has gone past its, you know, relationship phase? Because it's a cup, so it could be talking about relationship. This relationship has made it past its expiration date in terms of sex. So it's almost kind of like you're looking in new directions for that, or you're looking for like, you're trying to find the courage and the motivation and the strength to feel like that is something that you can have again, or something that you can do again, because it talks about like sexual expression here, right? Something in your mind is preventing your freedom, Saturn, of sexual 8 cups expression, right? And it's how you're relating to something. It's kind of like, stop giving value and stop giving, you know, consideration to things that don't necessarily need that consideration or need that compassion. You're putting compassion, right, in the wrong areas. And you need to be focused on like your own healing, and you need to be focused on like, you know, your own, you've got to go against the current of what you already know. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like forcing yourself to do something differently, right? If you will. That's what I'm getting from this. And the moon is a 9, so it's kind of like in the past you felt like this emotional freedom, but then you were like a long span of a relationship perhaps, or a long span of time that you may have spent with that relationship or with yourself outside of that relationship, or, you know, all of the things that were going on within that space, your headspace or the relationship, sort of like got you in a place of feeling stuck and taking a break from something. And now it's like you have to walk away from taking a break from something, right? You have to detach from whatever it was that was preventing you from seeing things clearly, right? Yeah, for sure. And it was kind of like a failure too, because it's kind of like this Taurus is like the physical body. So it's kind of like, you know, you may not be feeling like the physical attraction, but it's like you don't really need to worry about that. You know what I mean? Because you have the 4 of Swords here, Jupiter and Libra. Wow, you have a lot of things going for you, right? So you have to walk away from the things that are not valuing what you have to offer and give. Okay, and those could be ideas too that don't serve you. So anyway, thank you for sharing, and subscribing and commenting on the video. Follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot there, and my personal account is NYC Kendrick. Email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com if you'd like to get a personal reading.